Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I say this is Intervlog, and we are here once more. We are here today because of what is happening in Burkina Faso, and that thing is amazing. We have never had it so good in African governance the way we have it in Burkina Faso right now, and it is unbelievable. A lot of people are now getting confused because many people are asking questions about what is happening in Burkina Faso, whether Africa would choose democracy or military. Why? Because Ibrahim Traore, who is a soldier, has been in office not long ago, and he has done much better than many civilian rules in Africa. This is a problem, as we know that Ibrahim Traore also is going to extend his tenure for more 5 years. And that has created so many questions in Africa. The Africa Report newspaper also is confused because African Report is asking whether Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore is a dictator. In Africa, we know most of the military rulers as dictators. But is that true? If you check across Africa today, most of the leaders in Africa are democratic elected leaders. They are under democracy, but 95 or 99% of them are corrupt. They are the ones who are using the African money to go to Japan to buy Toyota SUV, new ones. They are the one misusing African economies. They don't think about production. They don't think about manufacturing. They don't create a job. The only thing they know is how to rig an election. And after they get that election, which they call democracy, the next thing they will do is to approve, to buy Toyota SUV, which is costing about $200,000 each. They will buy it for their governors, for their Senate, for House of Representatives, for local government chairmen. Everybody must have new cars, whether the country is poor or the country is rich. Where is this going to lead us to? Economic disaster. And this is the reason Africa is suffering. The worst part is that this so-called democracy is no more democracy. In every election, the rich people always win. Why? Because they will come. They buy the election. No good people is being elected in so many countries in Africa because the good ones don't have money. So because of that, Africa keep on having bad leaders. All of a sudden, Ibrahim Traore came into power. And since then, Burkina Faso has been enjoying good leadership. Everything has been moving so smoothly. He did not approve Toyota SUV for anybody. He did not even change his own vehicle. He focused on agricultural establishment. He makes sure that mechanized farm is introduced in. He has been tying road up and down, rebuilding the international airport to make sure that he can connect to other countries. And after all this, people began to wonder, is it better for Africa to go back to military rule, or should we remain in democracy? A lot have asked, why is it that in every election you have EU representative to monitor election, you have United States representative to monitor election, you also have Asia. Sometimes you have Australia. After all this, election will still be reigned and nobody will say anything. Has democracy been corrupted? If so, is it good for Africa to continue this type of democracy they are practicing? Better always try to save money for the next election in order to buy votes, because every 4 years there will be new election. Any leader who enters office tries to do his best to make sure that he's saving enough money to contest for the next 4 years. Either he's protesting as a president, as a governor, as a senator, as a House rep, the same thing every year. Now democracy has become a system in which people use to perpetuate their leadership. It is not supposed to be so. All of a sudden, a military leader appeared from Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. And the question has been asked whether Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore, a savior or a dictator. Let's go and let's him to what the African press asked about Ibrahim Traore. I quote, Burkina Faso extends military rule for another 5 years. Burkina Faso's ruling junta will remain in power for another 5 years under an accord adopted during national consultations on Saturday, delaying the transition back to democracy. Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore, savior or dictator? Protected by his Russian allies and convinced that he has been invested with a mission, Ibrahim Traore is a messianic figure for his supporters and a paranoid autocrat for his detractors. To secure his regime, Ibrahim Traore also needed to secure outside allies. His Malian big brother, Assimi Goïta, quickly took him under his wing, and in the classic pattern of a successful coup in the Sahel, Traore broke ties with France, which in his view was encroaching on Burkina Faso's sovereignty, to take shelter under Vladimir Putin's umbrella. At the end of July 2023, he attended the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg, where he met the Russian president for the first time. The young leader, a novice in the field, nonetheless seemed quite at ease. For his part, Putin sees in the spirited captain another asset to his breakthrough in French-speaking Africa. The foiled coup attempt in Ouagadougou at the end of September accelerated this rapprochement with Moscow. In the weeks that followed, several dozen Russian military and paramilitary personnel were sent to Burkina Faso, some directly to the presidency. Others were sent to work with Burkina Faso's National Intelligence Agency, ANR, while still others were tasked with training new members of future special units. In all, around 200 men have been deployed as part of the new Russian partnership with Africa. After listening to this news, I have come to conclusion that Ibrahim Traore is a new king in Africa. He has come to make a big change to allow us to realize that we should not only be focused on one-sided, because democracy is being corrupted in Africa. Does it mean that whoever introduced democracy in Africa or promote democracy in Africa is not seeing how our leaders are traveling to Japan every 4 years to pack SUV to distribute among themselves? Does it mean that whoever introduced democracy don't see that Africa is not progressing because the Africans don't have right to elect whom they want? Instead, the leaders elect themselves. Does it mean that the EU and Americans who come to monitor elections in Africa don't see that all the elections have been rigged in Africa? Why do they want Africa to continue in a system that is being corrupted, a system where money is being stolen from? To me, based on my own conclusion, whoever that is going to think about manufacturing, whoever that is going to think about production, how to build industries, how to build factories, instead of traveling to Japan to buy SUV every 4 years, is the best person to lead in Africa, whether you are a military, whether you are a civilian. Since your leadership is thinking about the masses, you are doing your best to make sure that you create employment. You are doing your best to make sure that you don't use the little money Africa has to go to Asia to buy SUV that cost 200,000 each and buy about 400, 500, some buy up to 1,000 pieces and distribute it among themselves. Don't they think that if they use this money to build factories, their economy will be getting better? Every 4 years you travel to Japan, you buy Toyota SUV every 4 years. If you use this money to be building factories every 4 years, don't you know that your unemployment will reduce? And Ibrahim Traore, who has just been in office for a very short time, has been doing well. He has been creating jobs. Not up to 2 months ago, he decided not to change his own vehicle. Instead, he used the money to buy tractors to make sure that mechanized farming, it's in Ivory Coast. How many of African leaders have done that? Democracy or no democracy, Africa must know what they do. Civilian government, or military government, is just a system of governance. What matters is who is there. If Ibrahim Traore is doing a good thing, governing very well, and he is a military, may he continue to be there. If he is doing well and continue to do well after 5 years, may he renew it another 5 years. Well, thank you very much for watching.